This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by the IBO lightweight champion, Maxi Hughes. Maxi, how are you?
Not too bad, mate. Getting on all right. It's lovely weather.
Yeah, it's nice. Last time we spoke, you were still kind of reeling a little bit from not getting the Ryan Garcia fight in favour of Javier Fortuna. They fought at the weekend. We'll talk about that in a bit. But what's happening with you? Is there a fight date on the horizon?
It's still no date, no. I think you're probably seeing online, everybody seems to know more than me anyway about me and Kid Galahad. He wants that fight. He wants the fight I was looking at. What Matchroom seemed to like that idea, and that's what they're trying to make. Well, yeah, it's a bit deflating. Like, you have nearly getting a Garcia fight. Devin Haney wins, and then he's mentioning he might want the IBO and stuff like that. And then Eddie says, "Oh yeah, he can fight Barry from Sheffield." I'm like, a nice one, buzzing for that.
So, judging by that, you'd find it fairly challenging to get up for that one in comparison to the others.
No, just that level of excitement's not there. I will, obviously, I'm professional, and I will be up for a fight. It's never been an issue with me, especially at this level. And again, the thought of what can come. So how I approach it will be the same as any fight. 100% motivated. But yeah, it's just it's almost like disappointing on the potential fights that what we're looking at, and that Eddie said after that last fight, we're going to get you that big life-changing fight, but this fight wouldn't be that. It's a good fight, and I will come out of it with some good credentials. Just looking at my record, then Maxi's beat Kid Galahad, former IBF world champion, not champion of 5-10 years ago, champion in his last fight. So I'm not boxing an over the hill has-been champion. I'm boxing somebody who was world champion in his last fight. So it's a good fight, and it's going to be tricky, technical. I'm more than confident in my ability and my momentum. So it'll be a good fight, and I'll come out, like I said, with some good credentials. I'm ranked decent with IBF, so beating Barry because he should be ranked decent with IBF. IBF seem to hold their champions in high regard, especially if they move between weights. So coming out of that fight with hopefully a top 5 IBF ranking, and a step closer to fighting for one of other world title belts.
And we know Haney's likely to rematch Kambosos in the interim as well, so it could work out pretty well if you fight around the same time. Yeah,
and I don't know if I've heard little bits on Haney's interviews that he might move up. So, judging off their last fight, I'm picking Haney to win again. So maybe he'll win, and hopefully he'll look to want that IBO again. That'd be great. That's the fight, isn't it? But if he don't, and he says I'm going to vacate and move up because I've cleared up and defended all the belts at 135. So hopefully I'll be ranked high enough, and hopefully Eddie and my team can get me in there for one of the belts. If I'm ranked well with the IBF, then hopefully can get in for that if it becomes vacant, or if Haney wants to fight. But I feel nobody stays undisputed for long, do they? Because they get mandatories start getting ordered. So that they can't fight all the mandatories. So I would imagine there might be a couple of belts become vacant.
Did you watch Garcia against Fortuna?
Yeah, I've watched it twice. Well, I tried to watch it first, but I had my baby and she needed some attention. So I watched 3 rounds, and then I caught up on the last bit today. He looked impressive, and he did what he needed to do. He looked massive. I know he did weigh in at 140, but I don't know who asked for it at 140. I'm hearing that Fortuna wanted.
Yeah, I think I read Fortuna asked for it at 140.
Yeah, but then I think Garcia said after it, he'll never make 135 again or something like that. But looking at size of him, I wouldn't be surprised because he looked big, right? So, maybe he's because he's only young and he's only a bobby, so he'll be probably starting to naturally fill out. So, it's a shame that fight never happened with me and him.
Was it hard for you to watch Fortuna in there, knowing it could have been you?
Yeah, especially on Saturday fight day. I was saying to my missus, I thought, that should have been there. A dream ticked off, headlining in America, career high payday, the opportunity. I've been on a massive stage and having my profile probably go through the roof. So, yeah, it was a bit disappointing for me how I felt. But it's boxing, isn't it? I've been around long enough now to know that's just what happens, and you just got to move on from it.
When you watched Fortuna, were there things that he was doing that you were thinking, there's flaws there, or he's made mistakes there? There's things you could have capitalised on that he didn't.
Yeah, I just feel like obviously Fortuna has been a champion in the past, but I felt like I would have, I feel like I believe I'm better than Fortuna, so my performance in there would have been different, a lot different from how we box. So yeah, it were a bit tough to watch, but it's boxing, and Fortuna got in there and had a go.
Do you think that could be a fight that could be made, like you and Fortuna? He fought on DAZN just recently. It could be like an eliminator or something. Yeah,
again, that's a fight I'd want. He's a former champion. I think freeweight. Is it freeweight world champion? So
yeah, I think
two or three weight. Yeah, so is a great name on paper, and that's a fight I would like. Yeah, because again, he's heavily ranked by a couple of sanctioning bodies. So that'd be a fight that would interest me, absolutely.
Why do you think it is a struggle to get you these big fights now? Because obviously you had that run, got the IBO, really good stuff. Is it that you're high risk, low reward in their view, do you think?
I don't know. I think Garcia would have been happy to take the fight, because he reached out to me personally. So I don't think he's looking at... I think they'll look this... I would have thought they'd look at me and think... I'm an easy challenge because I'm older than them. I'm not a big name, so they might look at that and think, oh yeah, it's an easier fight for us. I really don't know. I'd love to know why I'm not getting these big fights. If it were up to me and Garcia, I'm sure we could have made that fight ourselves.
You want your big opportunities come sooner rather than later. Obviously, you're still relatively young, but you're on such a great run of form. This is when it needs to be, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I feel like getting Garcia at this age is the time to get him. Yeah. Because he's young, inexperienced, in big, bigger fights. So now's the time to get him because he's obviously young and he's getting better. So time to get him now and get his name on the record.
Talking of Garcia, there's been a lot of talk since that fight at the weekend, even before that, about him and Tank Davis having a great showdown over in the US. Who would you fancy if that does come about?
I fancy Tank for that. I spoke to Elliot from Boxing News, give my input on the panel, and my opinion on it is I think Tank would be behind in the fight, because Garcia would start gaining confidence, letting his hands go, letting his fast hands go. And as we've seen with Tank, with Romero, when it's a bit like Lomas, starts working you out, going through motions a bit, gauging you, working out your timing. But I think as soon as there's a mistake, which Garcia would make, because I feel like he'd start quick, he'd start gaining confidence, start letting his hands go more. And like with Romero, he got too overconfident, lunged in, and he didn't leave much of an opening. But Tank's that good that he found that opening, and he can obviously seriously punch. And without Garcia, I think Garcia would maybe make a similar mistake to Romero in stepping in with the punch over lunging with punch, and he does leave his chin out to dry when he does that. And I think Tank would find that and probably get a mid to late stoppage.
Now, while you'd rather be busy, obviously, in the ring, you've had some extra time, I guess, at home since the last fight. Has that been pretty cool with young family, obviously?
Yeah, it's been great. My eldest, she's backing up. She's finished nursery, starts school in September, so we've got an hour at home every day for 6 weeks. My youngest, it's been brilliant to have her around every day, seeing how she comes on. I've been training. I was training hard, obviously, no data. I helped Jason Cunningham did his training camp sparring for him. So I was very much fight fit doing all Jason's sparring, and then I've dropped on to helping Dalton Smith prepare for his fight. But then it were 2 weeks ago now. The trainer and manager says, have a break because you're training like you're fighting fit. We don't want you burning out. It's probably going to be September, October now you fight. So have a break. So we went to Ibiza for a week with family, and that were a nice break. And now we're back, and we'll start being ready. They said possibly September, October we'll fight. So start getting ready for that. Back straight in sparring tomorrow with Dalton again. So hopefully it'll be a bit cooler.
Yeah. It can't get much hotter.
I know, yeah. Yeah. So we'll just start getting ready again.
Good stuff. Mate, I really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are. But once a fight date's actually announced, whether it's Galahad or someone else, let's do it again.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah.
All right, brilliant.
All right, Carl, speak soon, mate.
All right, chill out, mate. Speak soon.